Hello and welcome to Express Sports Podcast. You're listening to Game Time with me, Mihir Vasavda. Joining us today is our man at the cricket grounds across India, especially in Chennai. Indian Express sports team's Thala, Venkat Krishna. Venkat, you're joining us on your off day, so, well, we are highly obliged.
Anytime we hear with IPL on, is there really an off day?
I mean, with the kind of sports season we've been having, I think the players shouldn't be the only ones complaining about burnouts, I guess. But we'll keep our rants for later, I'm assuming.
If we get a chance.
It's also an appraisal season, so not a bad time to kind of, subtly let our bosses know that we've been working overtime. So that's that. But I guess that's enough indication that our podcast today will be kind of swinging from one topic to another. We'll be largely talking about IPL because that's what Venkat's specialty is. And Venkat, there are so many points that, have puzzled me so far this season. We'll kind of touch upon at least two of them today and who knows, digress into a few others along the way. The first, of course, is Virat Kohli. And I'll be honest, I have not seen as many IPL matches this season as I would have liked to. But just this whole buzz and the criticism that he's kind of receiving. And then, of course, the never-ending debate around Hardik Pandya and his inclusion in T20 World Cup squad, the role, etc., etc. Devendra Pandya, our colleague, did a story on that. We'll come to Hardik later. Just this bit about Virat Kohli, Venkat. What's exactly the situation? Why is his strike rate an issue even now?
Well, Mihir, I fail to understand. It's just one of the puzzles that I'm yet to solve, to be honest. Because I think we generally, there is a lot of fans just mistake the lot of things, right? We are not patient enough. Yes, all that is fine. But even when it comes to Virat Kohli, the issue is people are comparing him with, say, Travis Head or with somebody in KKR like Sunil Naran or somebody like Phil Salt or Chennai Super Kings or Mumbai Indians Rohit Sharma. But what people forget is Rohit Sharma or Sunil Naran or these guys, they have a different batting lineup which powers them to play the game the way they want to, where strike rate is with prime focus on strike rate and nothing else matters to them. They can even get out with a score of say 40 of 28 balls. The team, they have the enough batsmen to carry it forward. But with Kohli, I fail to understand, because he doesn't have a batting depth that allows him to play with as much freedom as, say, Rohit Sharma or Sunil Narine can. Because one, they have Faf du Plessis opener is similar sort of an anchorman, and then number three you guys have Rajat Patidar, then you have Glenn Maxwell who is who can know hot and cold. You never know when Glenn Maxwell is gonna click, and so it's very hard. And then you had Cameron Green as well, who's batting down the order, which is not his ideal position as well. So there's lot of factors you have to take in factor a lot of these things before judging with Kohli. Okay, listen, is he playing it slow or not? Yes, if he is playing at Chinnaswamy Stadium, there is always a strong case that isn't quick enough. But away conditions is not easy. We are not factoring the bowling attack. We are not creating the bowlers at all. It's as if hey, Kohli is just facing some bowling machine. He's got to score at over 300, 400. That's the strike rate people expect. But in reality, that's not the case. Every team, especially the teams that he has faced so far, have all had really good attacks. And by good attacks, I mean terrific T20 attacks. So I think we have to factor in these things as well. But again, when has these things been used to judge players? It's just okay, hey, listen, he's not fast enough. That's all we look at it. But there are a lot of parametrics that people don't really pay attention to. And honestly, Mihir, let's say is Kohli's strike rate, is it the prime concern for RCB at the moment?
I mean, that's true, 100%, right? I mean, and that's what I want to come to in a bit as well. But you mentioned Sunil Naran, and since we're recording this middle of the week, and he's just played a fascinating innings, fabulous innings the day before. But if you kind of, look at the two stats, I hope I've got it right because I've just kind of flushed it out in real quick time, and that's not my strength. But here we go. I think Naran has played, 6 innings compared to Kohli's 7 the day we speak. Naran has got 267 runs, Kohli's got 361. So that's Kohli 1, Naran 0. But then the biggest kind of prickling point, right? The prickly issue is Naran's strike rate is 188, Kohli's is 147. But Kohli's 113 that he scored of 72 balls also shows that he's kind of been not slow. And 147 isn't slow, Venkat. I don't know which dictionary the IPL followers use, but certainly from what I understand, it is pretty fast. And especially because we've always been going on and on about Kohli being this very correct cricketer, technique-wise. He doesn't go for any of those really ugly shots that we associate with T20 players. For all that, I think it's pretty good. So I guess it's a case of us really keeping Kohli at a very high level and comparing him to, I don't know what actually.
Also, I think it's players, fans and a lot of even experts, they want Kohli, the cricketer that he isn't, right? He's a completely different player. He's somebody who's going to provide the solid starts at the top. Yes, you can say like there is no space for solidity, anchorman in T20, but again, come on, it depends on a lot of the conditions and these factors, right? This is where Kohli is an ace batsman. Like, there isn't anybody who could pace an innings like him, whether it's Test cricket, ODIs or T20s. And yes, whether he deserves a spot in the Indian T20 team is debatable. That's a completely different story. But I don't think people have to put that into this debate of whether Kohli's strike rate has to be considered. No. See, thing is, as a coach, if you're sitting in the dugout, you would want somebody from the top three to get a good score. And Kohli is doing it on a regular basis. You cannot sit in this age where you think that, okay, listen, 10 of 4 deliveries is better than a guy scoring 100 of 57 balls or 67 balls. It's not at all a fair argument at all, because at the end of the day, if he's the only guy who's making runs, your coach will be happy with the way how he's doing. He won't mind whether he's getting it inside edge or whatever. He's gonna earn how many balls. He's gonna look at, yes, of course there'll be talk of let's make the 67 into 63 or 60. That's a talk they will have. They will not ask Kohli to hey, listen, you're scoring a 67, it is slow. Get me 140 balls. I don't think that sort of a conversations take place in the dressing room. I don't think Andy Fluff would go catch his throat and say, hey Kohli, you're being too slow, man. Come on, not happening.
Also, you mentioned the T20 World Cup, and I don't think Kohli's place should be in any doubt. The way he's batted, especially knowing the fact that he's coming after a big break post the birth of his second child. So he's, practically come in and left from where he was a couple of months ago. And come the T20 World Cup, with less than 2 months away, I think he will add value. Of course, there were question marks over him and Rohit Sharma and whether they have become dinosaurs in this format. Clearly not going by how they've been playing. And I don't know how true it is. You have your ears close to the ground, Venkat, but there have also been reports of Kohli opening the batting along with Rohit Sharma at the T20 World Cup. Is that a scenario that we're looking at? I don't know what will happen to the two really vicious fan groups on social media if that's going to happen.
See, if you're talking about old age, there is no space for old guys in the T20 team. I think there is a team closer home called Chennai Super Kings who have been
Of course you have to bring in Chennai Super Kings.
Yeah, of course. So they've been putting that theory to bin. So I don't think age matters at all. But if at all anything, I'm telling you all these guys whenever Stephen Fleming or Dwayne Bravo, whenever these guys interact with us, they keep saying one thing. There is nothing like an experience in T20. Yes, these guys might be too old or something, but these guys are way to have the experience of facing many tight situations, and they know how to come out on top of it. So yeah, and Virat Kohli again. Yep, why not? Yeah, they need a perfect fan song as well in a T20 career. Why not? You talk about West Indies and the USA hosting the T20 World Cup. It's not going to be easy condition at all. People think okay, West Indies short boundaries, but it's if the pitches are going to be on the slower side. These guys with previous experience of touring those countries, they know how well it is. So a lot of us just assume things the stuff to be okay, it's got to be flat decks. These guys are not going to struggle. These guys are going to be get annihilated by teams. But no. We have seen time and again in ICC events, especially where the conditions have been really tend to give some balance between bat and ball. And I think this T20 World Cup is going to be the same, because also let's not forget in USA, we are going to play on pitches that are going to be untested. So nobody knows what they're going to offer. And the Caribbean, same. You're going to have morning start. Because of the early morning start, the ball might seam up. You might need Rohits and
moisture and all.
Exactly. You might need these Rohit Sharmas and Virat Kohlis, that guys who can click behind the line of the ball and see through the, could be just 2 overs. But those 2 overs are very, very crucial.
Interesting, right? Because I mean, since especially India looks like at least India on paper has a really, really good young generation coming up, coming through the ranks and kind of challenging these two giants of the Indian game for their spots in the team. But I mean, you mentioned Kohli, and is he the only problem of RCB? I don't know about the players, but Venkat, you wrote something that appeared in the newspaper on Wednesday. I think that's a bigger problem. A price of an RCB ticket at 52,938 rupees. That is, I don't even know what's the right word to describe it. But yeah, I mean, what obnoxious, I guess, is the word that comes to my mind. Yeah, right. Who pays that much money?
Yeah, the fans, apparently. The ones who want to have Instagram reels or something. They're willing to burn it. I was just thinking, like, it is not even a month's salary for a lot of Indian men and women, right?
Champions League final tickets, which are the highest brackets tickets, grade A tickets, I think some £360, which is 36,000 odd rupees, I think, if I'm not wrong, if I remember correctly. And this, if people are trying to tell me that an IPL group stage match is worth more than a Champions League final, then well, I think I don't know anything about sport.
Seriously, I was like shocked when I saw that. And then, yes, the most interesting thing of it all is RCB is doing it, right? A team that doesn't win games on a consistent basis has the audacity to do that to the fans who have been like really, really loyal to them. Come on, man. Like, I mean, I'm serious. I felt sorry for the fans, guys. These guys are taking you guys for a proper ride. It's like sometimes I feel like the fans, RCB fans, they should just do something like what the Premier League or European clubs do, not especially the clubs from Germany and Spain do, right? When they travel to away games in England, they raise these banners and slogans against the Arsenals and Manchester Cities for selling expensive tickets. I think that should be the case here. They should like voice the case here. But again, this is an IPL. Nobody's going to care. We're like, yeah, man, we are going to get money. So what? I think that's the thing we live in, I believe, where the fans... But also, interesting thing, Mihir, jokes aside, like, I've seen in Chennai where the ticket rates have gone up for the second successive year. Yes, it is not as expensive as Bangalore, but the tickets which used to cost like 2,400 last season are being sold at 4,000 now.
What's the reason?
Yeah, because of that, a friend of mine recently went to watch this game. So he couldn't bring his wife because that would cost like, say, 16,000 for a game. So he was not, especially with the school examination fees and all that has to be paid. He was like, no, let's not do that. He just left his wife behind and he just bought his 2 kids. So you're seeing, right, the IPL, for all it is, this was like done aimed at the Indian middle class. With this ticket rates, you're like slightly like closing the door on the middle class who have helped you make the IPL brand so big in all the 17 years. So I feel like there is like bit of injustice done to them. I think there has to be, the time has really, really come for them to look like to keep the market. Yes, all of them say they went with the market price, but I think they have to factor in the inflation and everything and then think, okay, like let's not get so much. Also, Chennai is an interesting place as well, right? They have to pay the entertainment tax, which is Chennai is the only venue that plays entertainment tax. So, but even then, it feels like 4,000 to watch CSK. It feels like little too much.
I read your story today and I was then driving to office and digress, but just trying to make a point here. I was down the road from office. I was filling I was getting petrol and the attendant there. I mean, it's super hot right now in Mumbai, right? It's one of those very weird heat waves that the city is experiencing and it's unbearable outside. So we started talking about a couple of things, known that guy for a few months now. And he was trying to explain, how it's a struggle for him on his salary to buy even a cooler for his home. So he's saying it costs at least 10,000 rupees. I can't buy straight up with 1 month's salary because, well, there are other EMIs as well. So he's saying I'll have to wait till the salary that I'll get next month so I can buy a cooler. But then, like, by the time I'll get it, perhaps the heat might have subsided and I might not need it anymore. So these are the real world issues that people are dealing with here. And then on the other hand, you're talking about ticket rates, which forget 52,938 that the RCB is charging, but look at what some of the others are charging for their highest tickets. Lucknow Super Giants 20,000, KKR 28,000, Mumbai Indians 18, Gujarat 20,000, Rajasthan 20,000, Sunrisers Hyderabad 30. Punjab 9,000. It's absolutely ridiculous, these rates, and I don't know if there's any way to kind of police it. I mean, you mentioned how it happens in football stadiums across Europe, but I think there has to be organized fan groups now who represent a larger voice, and this can be controlled, if that's one way of kind of monitoring this. But it's completely gone out of control.
Yeah, but Mihir, let's put this straight as well. IPL at the end of the day is run by franchises who have a control over who they want in the stadium. Let us make that clear as well. If they want, they can like even close it for the fans and say like, hey, listen, we have already sold it. And they can still have a full house. That's how
No,
it is.
that's true. But my thing is that, are you getting your value for the money? I mean, if you're spending, say, even if you were to look at the bare minimum, right? Delhi Capitals, 5,000 rupees. But is visiting an Indian stadium worth that 5,000 rupees per person is my question. Like, if you're giving me an out-of-the-world experience, like people are paying 1,200 rupees for movies, for example. Not in Chennai. I know you'll immediately say that Chennai is like superb in terms of movie tickets pricing. But I mean, say in Delhi or Bombay, if you're spending 1,000 rupees for a movie, then you know at least you're going to get, if not entertained with the movie, but you'll be getting like good experience going there. That's certainly not the case if you're going to a Wankhede or a Firoz Shah Kotla.
I mean, did you say like you're going to get entertained with the movie in Delhi? Okay, but maybe some English or Malayalam or Tamil.
I mean, not so that's what, right? Not entertainment per se, the movie, but at least you know what you're going, and you're getting into kind of luxury might be a strong word, but at least comfortable environment, which isn't the case at the stadiums.
Totally, Mihir, because some of the experiences that we, the media folks, experience is not like really cool, right? But I can't imagine that like fans out there, they don't get water, they don't get clean toilets. So considering all of that, to spend as much, and with you can't like parking can be a nightmare, and there can be like they might like take away your handbag, binoculars. So considering they overcome all these hassles, they still pay so much. It's like, and then when you pay, you feel like sometimes you think, hey, yeah, you guys deserve it, man. That's how it feels like, right?
Then there are like a bunch of fans who will pay like thousands and thousands of bucks. I don't know. You mentioned in your story that Lucknow is selling their tickets for 500 and Bombay for 900 or something like that. I don't know how many tickets. It might be 1 or 2 tickets like that which might be going for sale. But I mean, then there are some people, for example, in Bombay, who spend like thousands and then go and boo their own captain, which is also like, at least you boo the ticket rates then, not Hardik Pandya.
Mihir, you're like firing some volleys out of volleys.
But it beats me every time I look at the cricket fan experiences. Like, of course, we don't have other sports at that level where fan experiences can be measured in India. So cricket is the thing. Actually, no, I think we've spoken earlier. I think if you're a hockey fan and if you've been to, say, for example, a hockey tournament in Chennai or in Bhubaneswar or Lucknow, that money is very well spent. Like, you get your complete match day experiences over there. Also, at a few ISL games that you've been to, I think it's a good experience, but the scale of it, nothing compares to cricket. And it always kind of puzzles me, why would anyone pay like anything more than 200, 300 or 500 rupees to go and watch cricket in those really, really poor stadiums across the country. But yeah, Venkat, I don't know if you want to add to this rant anymore, else like the last point that we have is Hardik Pandya. Do you want to jump to that?
Yes, please.
And where do you want to start? Because, well, poor Pandya, I don't think anything that he's been doing right now is going for him. If he's smiling, then people have a problem. If he's praying, then that's a problem. If he's praising someone else, quote unquote, Dhoni, that's a problem. So what does Hardik Pandya do here?
And adding to the problem list, there is a video of him walking to the Mumbai airport with a sleeveless t-shirt or something. Even that was like, people are saying, how can a Mumbai Indians captain wear these clothes? Dude, see, that's what it is, Indian mentality, right? You find fault with every single thing that you do, right? And Pandya is like getting to hear it the worst possible way, right? Like, come on. See, he's being castigated and criticized for what? For being ambitious? I mean, then what? Everybody has to be like, it's like, I have to ask the neighbor, hey, listen, I want to beat so-and-so. Can I have that ambition? This uncle will say, hey, no, you can't be ambitious. Then you have to like go sit back at home or what? Come on. He was like getting an offer. His owners decide like, okay, this man is the best one to lead and he's getting it, man. Just give him some time. No. But again, it's very hard, yeah, like Mihir, like you said. Because when you see like everything is working, you'll have like everybody is around you all the time. But there have been moments in this IPL season where I feel like Pandya has been left alone by his teammates. It's like, I don't think they are doing it intentionally as well, but it feels like for a lot of times he feels alone. Even while being on the field, he is like talking to everyone and everybody, be it Rohit Sharma, Bumrah or Surya Kumar Yadav, they are chipping in with whatever inputs they are providing to him. Like whenever there's a chance they provide him. But there are times where he feels like Pandya is alone on the field. He doesn't know who to go back. Like in Gujarat Titans, you saw Hardik Pandya time and again go to Ashish Nehra, have these conversations. And even now, the cameras keep picking him, having conversations with Kieran Pollard and Mark Boucher in the dugout. But I don't know, like when he comes inside the ring, it's like completely he's on his own. And we have like former cricketers also going after him. So which is even more must for him. Yes, he will be cutting out all the noise. But every time the camera pans to him and his face is like zoomed in on the giant screen on the stadium, he also knows that people are talking about him. So he doesn't know what they're talking about him. So these things, as a human, it will come into your mind. This is like, you might think like, okay, like they might be talking only good things, but no, it's like that's subconsciously, if you're a human, even it doesn't matter whether you're a high performing athlete at the international level, these things tend to come into your mind, especially when you're battling for form. And in cricket, nothing. Like if you score runs or get wickets, yes, you will get the fans back. But right now, that is not happening for Pandya. He's struggling for runs. He's not able to close out games. And his Chennai Super King, he saw a 42-year-old come in and just like do his bit to add more fire and just like give more reasons for people to like have issues with. So all this is happening one after the other, right?
Yeah, true. And I don't know how tough it is for, say, someone like Sachin Tendulkar or Rohit Sharma to come out and say a word in support of Pandya. I mean, Kiran Pollard did it. He came out and supported Pandya strongly, but I think it also kind of meant that
Virat Kohli did it.
Absolutely. And that's why I guess you get a sense that he's perhaps lost the dressing room. I might be reading too much into it. But I mean, speaking of Rohit Sharma, and Devendra Pandey had an interesting report too earlier this week about the meeting between Rohit, Rahul Dravid, the coach, and selection committee chairman Ajit Agarkar. And their decision in a way that Hardik has to bowl regularly if he wants to make a comeback to the Indian team for the T20 World Cup, which perhaps explains why he's kind of going at it. And then like Dhoni does something like hitting 3 sixes off him, which eventually proved decisive in that match. Yeah, stars totally aren't aligning. But what's with Hardik and his T20 World Cup ambitions, Venkat?
Mihir, I definitely believe he'll be making it to the squad. I don't think there's a doubt. But where the selectors could like have a real think about is if Hardik Pandya is not bowling regularly in the remaining games. Thing is, India, as we all know, are like very, very limited when it comes to players who can offer balance to the side. And when it comes to seam bowling options, we are even more thinner. We have just Hardik Pandya and the rest. We have like there is daylight difference between Vijay Shankar's or Darshan Neelkande's or even Nitish Kumar Reddy, right? And then we have Shivam Dube, who has so far been used as an impact player by Chennai Super Kings. They don't even require his bowling skills. So, which means they don't have another seam bowling option ready to come in place of Hardik Pandya. So, yes, at a T20 World Cup, India should ideally have 6 bowling options. 5, you're just touch and go. If one bowler has a bad day, he's gonna like go for plenty. And whether India are willing to take the risk or not, that's a question. And then if they go with such 5 friend-line bowlers, that means their batting depth will end at probably like 7. They will have a long tail. So considering all these factors, they need Hardik Pandya so that he can provide them with a balance and he can at least bowl like 2-3 overs on a regular basis. By 2-3 overs, it need not be like what a part-timer does. They want like somebody to have an impactful overs. Whether Hardik Pandya will be able to deliver them is a question right now because he's been hit all over the park. This IPL, his economy rate is around 12, and whether it's with a new ball or in the middle overs or the 1 hour he bowled, it's really not worked for him. So these are the concerns that Pandya has to address, right? So he has some few games remaining, but there are still questions whether Pandya has like can really bowl day in and day out because he started off bowling 3 overs and 4 overs in his first 2 games, and then he didn't bowl in the next 2. Then he bowled a over against RCB, then another 3 overs against Chennai Super Kings. So these things suggest that okay, he's also not really sure about us because we saw what he did with Gujarat Titans before when he was fully fit. He was like bowling those 4 overs on a regular basis or 3 overs at least, and he was like willing to take the responsibility. If the team needed wicket, he was coming on last run and he was getting those wickets. But this time, no, that's not the case. So this is where the team management and the selectors are worried about. It's not like, okay, if Hardik is not fit enough to bowl those overs expected of him, I don't think there is no use taking Hardik Pandya to the team to the World Cup because he used to be such a marauding player against spin, right? He used to like take them down. He's going to hit them far. on the V, but he's not able to do that. We saw the last T20 World Cup as well against Pakistan. Like, he isn't the player that he used to take, how he used to take down the spinners earlier. He used to like just eat them for breakfast. Now he just struggles a little bit. And there are like far better players of spin in this team right now. There is like Rinko Singh, he can do the finishing role. Especially if he's in the team, he's going to expect it to come at like 5 or 6, right? We have like other players for that role. So I don't think India will be like too leaning towards just having Hardik as a batsman.
Yeah, true. I mean, he's going at an economy of 12. He's not taken many wickets, and the only time he's bowled at the death, he was cleaned up by Dhoni. Let's see what happens with Hardik, Kohli, and so many other talking points. Of course, there's still some time left for the T20 World Cup, so we'll be taking another stock-taking situation maybe in a couple of weeks or a little more than that. I think that's all the time we have for today. Venkat, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all of you for listening. We'll be back with a new episode of Game Time next Sunday. Thank you for listening.
You were listening to Express Sports by the Indian Express. This week's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.